Alright, UFC 312 is swiftly approaching, and although it is an abomination of a card, there are some pretty decent prospects to look out for on this one. Some young guys that are going to be looking to come out, steal the show, because God knows the show needs to be stolen. So let's get right into it. We're going to start with Ilia Topuria's older brother, the bantamweight Aleksandre Topuria, who is making his UFC debut at the UFC 312 card. I would say his fight against Colby Thicknesse is probably the second most intriguing fight on the entire card, which is ridiculous. But so he's a little bit older than Ilia. He's 29. He fights a division down. He's a bantamweight, but from everything I've seen, he's about the same size as Ilia. He's a massive bantamweight, physically a monster in that division. Now, the most interesting thing about this matchup, if you say Aleksandre Topuria is an awful fighter, if you say he's a great fighter, you have no idea what you're talking about. Nobody does. This guy has only fought 3 times since 2015. His last fight was in mid-2023. He finished that fight in the first round, I believe. Took the guy down, got a bit of a mounted crucifix, and finished him with ground and pound. Also, all of his last few fights, all complete cans. But that being said, he finished them the way that you should finish a can. And since then, he's just barely fought. We know nothing about this guy. He could be elite level. He could be complete garbage and not good enough to be in the UFC. But that's what makes this so interesting. We'll see. In terms of style, he's 100% grappling focused. You know how people say that Ilia is primarily a grappler. He only does the striking because he's gotten extremely talented at it. But when we see him against a guy like Makhachev or something like Evloev, we may see him revert back to a lot of his grappling. Aleksandre Topuria shows that 100%. This guy is so strong, really good takedown entries. His last fight, he went straight into a double leg, took the guy down easily, got that mounted crucifix, and was able to land elbows. Really good ground and pound, although it's really, he has good, really short punches in the ground and pound. He doesn't have to get great posture and really throw it down. He's able to just generate good power from short punches. And he has a few ground and pound finishes now. That being said, he is 5-1, so we genuinely know very little about this guy. I would expect massive improvements, especially in the striking. There's no way he takes off over a year training with arguably the best striker in his division and the couple divisions above him in Ilia Topuria, and he's not making massive improvements in the boxing. We never saw him stand for more than a couple minutes. We never really saw him be challenged in the striking by a good, competent striker. I don't believe he has any standing knockouts in his career. It's mostly take him down, sub him, or TKO him, which is good. But expect boxing in the striking, but expect before that takedown attempts, grappling attempts, especially against his opponent, which we will get into. I've watched almost all the film out on both of these guys. Both of these guys look like they have really good components to their game, but they really aren't proven because they just have not fought the best of competition. So let's talk about his opponent, Colby Thicknesse. This guy is even younger than Ilia, even younger than Aleksandre Topuria. This guy's only 25 years old, undefeated with 2 KOs, 2 subs, 7 wins. What he's really known for, he trains with Volkanovski, but he is a division below Volk. I believe he's 5'9", 5'10", so he's pretty big, at least height-wise for a bantamweight. He's going to be able to outrange Aleksandre, so that'll be interesting to see how Aleksandre is able to come in with the boxing or shoot in for takedowns. He had 4 wins in 2024, so as opposed to Aleksandre, who hasn't fought since 2023, he's going to be much... people say ring rust isn't a thing. I don't believe that. But we'll see how much Aleksandre has improved as compared to Colby, who stayed extremely active with his 4 wins in 2024. To be honest, I like that for him going into this one. I would say the main thing with Colby Thicknesse, his kicking game is good. He's able to get up quick leg kicks, kick quick body kicks, quick high kicks. But I would say he is also primarily a grappler, which will be interesting in this matchup. His takedowns are good, slick. His nickname is Colby Thicknesse. His grappling really good. He'll get on your back, choke you out. That's what he's done a couple times. Now you see he's more of a decision guy, which doesn't necessarily bode well for him considering he hasn't been fighting the best guys. I believe he was fighting in somewhere in Asia, like Burma or something like that. But he's been doing what he can. He's getting his chance in the UFC now, and clearly he's a very good guy. Only 25 years old, a lot of high-level experience in training, and a ton of cage experience as compared to his opponent in Aleksandre Topuria. This is going to be a super hard one to predict because there's just not enough known about either of these guys, especially against really high-level opponents. But I think in this one I'm going to have to go with Aleksandre. I think Ilya is not going to let his brother just come in and fail in his first fight. I think he is going to have a big strength advantage on the ground. I do see Colby Thicknesse outstriking him, but I also see Aleksandre coming in, eventually taking him down, and being able to win the fight through that means. So, let's move on. We've got Hyun Sung Park. Peace of Mind is his nickname. Kind of funny, but he's 29 years old, a flyweight. Really good fighter, 9-0 on an 8-fight finish streak. 4 KOs, 4 subs, so a very well-rounded guy. He kind of dominated on the road to the UFC, which is good because that isn't necessarily the best competition. But if you're not getting the best competition, you should expect to be dominating them, which he was. That's a sign of a high-level fighter. And then outside of that, he's had 1 win in the UFC already, outside of road to the UFC, and that was a TKO win over Shannon Ross. Nasty body shot. Good win. He's on his way. He hasn't fought since 2023, though. Maybe a good sign at 29 years old. Maybe it's a sign of him building up his skills. Maybe it's a sign of him really bulking into that flyweight division, making sure he's going to be as big as possible at flyweight. Because at flyweight, if you're small, that's kind of a death sentence. It's already the smallest division. You want to be as big as you can and still make that division. Now, his opponent is going to be Nyamjargal Tumendemberel, like a Mongolian guy, who's actually really good too. If you look at him, he kind of looks like Miktabek Oralbai, similar type of heritage. But that is a very good opponent. Now, he did lose his last one. He's not like a future top 10 guy like I believe Hyun Sung Park could be. But it is a very good test for him, a very tough guy. Not a guy he's just going to be able to steamroll. So I'm excited for this one. Watch out for Hyun Sung Park. Alright, and then next we've got Cody Steele. This is a guy coming right off the Contender Series. You can tell when they got that weird bluish picture. I don't know why they do that. But he's 29, so a young guy still. He's a lightweight, undefeated at 7-0. 4 KOs, 1 sub. This guy's a finisher. He's got power in his hands. My main takeaway from watching him on the Contender Series earlier last year was that this guy is extremely athletic at lightweight, which can go a long way. He looks very explosive, very powerful. He ended up getting a body shot KO. If I remember right, he kind of leapt into it, and he just put on a lot of pressure. I believe it was in the second round against his opponent. He was kind of struggling a bit in the first, technically, but he had insane athletic pressure. Really powerful guy, too. Really strong guy. Hard to take down. Hard to contain, right? This isn't a guy that you can necessarily keep at range or make him dismayed. He's going to come at you. He's going to be strong. He's going to be powerful. He's going to be explosive. If I remember right, he also did a backflip. Maybe I don't know. But Cody Steele, very good, powerful, dangerous prospect in the lightweight division. So watch out for Cody Steele. All right, and then last but not least, maybe least, we've got Rodolfo Bellato, one of the very few light heavyweight prospects. Now, if you look at his record, he's 12-2. Those 2 losses came when he was much younger in Brazilian MMA, like regional professional promotions, to Vitor Petrino, a guy that was supposed to be a really good prospect at light heavyweight, till he got fraud checked by Anthony Smith and then lost again, which is disappointing. But hopefully Rodolfo Bellato has been able to surpass Vitor Petrino by this point. He's only 28 years old, which means he's got like 10 years left at light heavyweight. 7 KOs, 5 subs, all of his wins by finish. Very impressive to be getting 5 subs as a light heavyweight, right? These are not guys that are known for grappling, but he is still primarily a striker. If he is able to work in his grappling against other opponents, he's fighting Jimmy Crute, so maybe not the best time. But aside from that, if he is able to work in his grappling, that's going to take him all the way to the top of light heavyweight, right? Because when you think about it, hardly any grapplers at light heavyweight, hardly any competent grapplers at least. Not to mention this is a very explosive, powerful, athletic guy. if he's got you worrying about the takedowns, he's going to be able to knock you out, as he's proven in the past. And he is fighting Jimmy Crute, who is not good, right? He's just not good. He shows up once a year to fight on a big Australian pay-per-view, and lately he's just been getting destroyed on those. This should be another case of that. I think Rodolfo Bellato is competent enough on the ground that Jimmy Crute's not going to be able to finish him, which is Jimmy Crute's only chance to win it on the ground. Predict a KO. If you're a betting man, put money on a Rodolfo Bellato KO. I don't see this going anyway. This is kind of a layup for Rodolfo Bellato. Expect a KO here. And I believe that wraps it up. Let me know what you think about these prospects. There are a couple other good guys on this card. I didn't want to make this video too long, but this is probably the only reason I'll be tuning into the prelims and early main card of UFC 312. Aside from that, it's a bit dreadful, but it's not like I'm going to pay for it anyway. So, there we go. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know any videos you want me to make. I'm happy to do any of that. So, have a great day.